discovered this whole concept of games in kind of a funny way. One of my good friends is a wonderful guy named Emery, and he's from Mississippi, and he didn't get rid of his accent, so I always feel like I'm down home when I'm talking with Emery. And we used to sing together in choir years ago, and at the time he was the manager of a good-sized IT department in a large local company. And we always would get together before practice and just kind of chat about how our week had been going at work. And he came in one Thursday night and he said, well, you know how I've been running shorthanded in my department? I said, oh, yeah, it's been really tough for you. And he says, well, they found somebody for me. And I said, well, that's great news. He said, I don't know. He says, one of the other management team members came to me and said, I've got good news and bad news. The good news is we found somebody for your spot. The good news is it's Gladys. She's hardworking, she's dependable, she's got high quality, you can count on her. And the bad news is it's Gladys. I kind of hate to do this to you because there's some days when she is just impossible to deal with, so you just need to steer clear of her on those days. And I said to Emery, well, this should be interesting. He said, yeah, that's what I thought. So a couple of weeks later, he came on Thursday night. He said, my new person started on Monday. I said, oh, how is it? He said, well, we didn't know each other really well, so I brought her into the office so we could have a little chat. This is the first thing she said to her new boss. Excuse the language. You just need to understand this about me. There's some days when I'm just bitchy. I can't help it. It's just the way I am. And I said, how did you handle that? And he says, well, I handled it the way I've handled similar things. I just said to her, you can feel however you feel. You just can't show it. Because that's not acceptable job performance. And I won't tolerate it. And I said, how long has she been working there? And he said, 11 years. Good luck, pal. About 3 weeks later, he came in and he said, they were right. It was Tuesday. I knew right away. I said, well, what'd you do? He said, I just called her into the office and I said, you're showing it. And that's not acceptable job performance, and I won't tolerate it. He said the rest of the day went fine. So I would check in with him periodically. How's Gladys doing? Fine, fine, fine. She never had another day like that. I'm thinking, what is the magic that this man has? Is it the Mississippi accent? And I just realized that all those years, Gladys and the company had been playing a game, and he just called an end to it. And it got me thinking of how often I've been sucked into games, how often I've generated games. Because this stuff is not conscious and intentional, it's easy to slide into those patterns. So remember, games only happen if everybody agrees to play. And you have to remember you're one of the players. And I choose this picture specifically because I went to college in the dark ages where you had to have 3 hours of physical education in order to graduate. So of course I waited till the last semester to take my PE. I took a tennis class 5 days a week in Florida in the summer. The only thing I remember from that class was I was to stand like this. And when the ball came over the net, I was to do this. And if I did that, I could get my C and graduate. Yes! That's what happens sometimes with these games. We feel like we have to return the serve. Don't return the serve.